Get your hands where I can see them. The command erupted from the silence, loud and sharp like a firecracker. Leo froze, his hand still on the door handle of his own vehicle. He blinked, confused, not even sure who the order was for until he turned to see two police officers advancing on him. The senior one, with a cruel smirk and reflective sunglasses, stepped forward. "You're under arrest for attempting to steal a car. Have you ever watched something completely unfair unfold right before your eyes? Before we go any further, tell us what country or city you're watching from. Drop it in the comments below, and if you believe that everyone deserves to be treated with fairness, regardless of their skin color, hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories that need to be told." Just seconds before, Leo had been walking to his car, ready to leave, but the door wouldn't unlock. He frowned, jiggling the key again, but it was stuck. He figured he'd grabbed the wrong key or it had jammed. That's when the two officers, who had been observing from their patrol car, rushed over, assuming the absolute worst. "What?" Leo said, stunned. "This is my car." But the officer had already grabbed him by the wrist. "Sure it is," he scoffed, twisting Leo's arm behind his back. "You just happened to be dumb enough to try and steal it right in front of us." The second officer, younger, with a clean-shaven face and a look of clear discomfort, watched in silence. Leo tried to explain, his voice steady but urgent. "Officer, just check the center console. My wallet and my license are right in there." "Oh, I'm sure they are." The senior cop sneered, his voice dripping with sarcasm. He turned to his partner, speaking loudly enough for Leo to hear. "You believe the nerve on this guy? Thinks he can lie straight to our faces. Sir, please just look inside. I'm telling you the truth. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law," the senior cop snapped, tightening the handcuffs. "You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you." Back at the scene, the younger officer finally found his voice. "Shouldn't we at least check the car?" The senior officer waved him off dismissively. "Maybe you should just keep your mouth shut and get the door for me so I can put this punk away." Leo was shoved into the back of the patrol car, his words muffled as the door slammed. "Just check the car. Save it for the judge," the senior cop said coldly. Only one person seemed to be wrestling with a shred of doubt, and that tiny bit of hesitation was about to change everything. Inside the car, Leo sat cuffed and rigid, fighting to keep his composure as his mind raced. He leaned forward. "Officer, please just check the car. Everything you need is right there in the center console." The younger officer, Mason, hesitated. "You're really saying this is your car?" "I swear," Leo said, his voice earnest. "My license, my registration, it's all in there. Just take a look." But before Mason could respond, the senior officer barked from the driver's seat. "Don't waste your breath, Mason. He's lying, and you're falling for it." The younger cop pushed back. "Still, what if he's telling the truth? You know his kind," the senior one, Sergeant Cole, snapped. "All they do is lie and steal." There was a tense pause. Mason's jaw tightened. "His kind?" he repeated quietly. "That's completely out of line, Sergeant." But Cole wasn't backing down. "Let it go, Mason. I'm your commanding officer, and this is my arrest." Leo watched the argument unfold in disbelief. "Please," he begged one last time, "it'll take 10 seconds. Just check." But Sergeant Cole just turned his back and slammed the car door shut. At the station, Leo was processed and put into a holding cell. "You're making a huge mistake," he said again. "Check the car. Every answer you need is in that car." Cole just scoffed and walked away, but Officer Mason wasn't done. He walked over to the cell and crouched down. "If you're really the owner, where exactly is your ID?" In the center console, Leo repeated firmly. "Please." Mason looked him in the eye, searching for any hint of deception. Then he stood up. "All right. Sit tight. I'll be back." Leo looked at him, surprised. "Why are you helping me?" Mason replied, "Because I believe in doing the right thing. It doesn't matter what you look like. If you're telling the truth, you deserve the chance to prove it. Have you ever had to risk your own career just to do what's right? If you're the kind of person who believes that justice should always come before rank or pressure, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more powerful stories that challenge our assumptions. Officer Mason walked straight into the break room and found Sergeant Cole pouring a coffee as if nothing had happened. Sergeant, Mason began carefully, "I've been thinking. Maybe we should just check the guy's story. It's the least we can do before we end up wrongfully imprisoning an innocent person." Cole didn't even look up. "Drop this nonsense, Mason. Can't you see this guy is playing you? Besides, I already called impound. They're on their way to tow it." Mason stood his ground. "Even if he is lying, we might find something in the car to help the case. Just let me check it before they take it away." That's when Cole's smile vanished. His voice became cold. "Don't even think about it." Mason raised an eyebrow. "Sir, if you go behind my back on this, I swear I will make your life in this department a living hell." The silence that followed was heavy and threatening. Mason stared at him, then gave a tiny nod. "All right, I'll drop it." But as he walked away, his jaw was set like stone. He wasn't letting this go. Not a chance. Moments later, he slipped outside and pulled out his phone. He knew exactly who to call. Detective Ortiz, an old academy friend who owed him a big favor. "Hey, it's Mason. I need your help," he said quietly. "Can you meet me at the city impound lot? I need to get into a vehicle." There was a brief pause on the other end. "Does this have anything to do with Sergeant Cole? I'll explain when you get there. Sometimes doing the right thing means breaking the rules. But what would you do if your boss ordered you to abandon justice? If you've ever faced a tough choice between your job and your values, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us why integrity is everything." Later that night, Ortiz met him and used his tools to pop the lock on the impounded car. Mason slid into the driver's seat and flipped open the center console. Empty. He checked the glove box. Nothing. No ID, no registration. He sat there, a cold feeling washing over him. Had Leo been lying the whole time? Mason was frozen in the driver's seat of Leo's car. It was completely empty. He searched again, frantically this time. Center console, glove box, under the seats. Nothing. Not a single piece of paper. The man had seemed so calm, so sure of himself. Ortiz stood by the open door. "You sure this is the right car?" "Yeah," Mason said slowly, still scanning the interior. "This makes no sense." He got out of the car, running a hand through his hair in pure frustration. And that's when he heard the voice. Well, look what we have here." Mason spun around. There stood Sergeant Cole, arms folded, that smug grin plastered on his face. "You have any idea how bad this looks?" Cole snapped, his voice sharp. "Going behind my back, getting a detective involved. You'll be lucky if you still have a job tomorrow." Mason stood his ground. "Sorry, Sergeant. I had to be sure." "Oh, and what did you find? A license? Registration? A shred of proof?" Cole taunted. Mason glanced back at the empty car and shook his head. "No. Turns out you were right." The sergeant clapped him hard on the shoulder. "Of course I was. Now get in the car before I really lose my temper." As they drove back, Mason stared out the window, his jaw clenched. Something was still deeply wrong. Back at the station, he walked down to the holding cells. Leo sat on the bench, hands still cuffed. He looked up, his eyes hopeful. "You found my license? Can I go now?" Mason hesitated. "I searched the whole car, man. There was nothing in there." Leo's face fell. "That's impossible. I left it right there in the center console. I swear." Mason stepped closer, his own frustration boiling over. "You know the trouble I'm in for believing you? I can't believe I fell for this." "Listen," Leo said, his eyes locking on Mason's. "Something's not right. Put it there. I'm not lying." But Mason just shook his head. "I trusted you and you played me. I can't do anything else for you." Have you ever stood up for someone only to feel like you were made a fool of? Hit that like button if you've ever had your faith in someone tested. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that prove things aren't always what they seem. Mason walked away, but the story wasn't over. The next morning, the squad room was full. Officers milled around, sipping coffee and whispering as the police chief himself, Chief Evans, stepped to the podium. Morning, he began. Before we get to the day's business, I want to address an incident from yesterday. He scanned the room. Sergeant Cole. He motioned the senior officer forward. Cole rose from his chair, beaming with pride, and strutted to the front, adjusting his belt as if he'd just won an award. Sergeant, the chief asked, "Tell us about the arrest you made yesterday." Cole grinned. "Caught a would-be car thief red-handed, sir. Had him booked and processed within the hour." "Good," the chief nodded. "That makes this next part much simpler." He turned his gaze. Officer Mason, front and center. Mason stiffened, then stood and walked forward, his heart pounding, certain he was about to be fired. "Is it true," the chief asked, "that you disobeyed a direct order from your sergeant and searched the suspect's vehicle?" Mason took a deep breath. "Yes, sir, I did. I had to be sure. I take full responsibility." "Interesting," the chief said, pacing slowly. "Because I'm glad you did." The room fell silent. "I had that car rigged with hidden cameras," the chief continued. "We've been getting complaints about racial profiling. I didn't want to believe it, so I set up a test." "A test?" Mason asked, confused. The chief turned, and the side door opened. Leo walked in. He wore no cuffs, no prison jumpsuit. He was in a sharp suit with a detective's badge clipped to his belt. The entire room went dead quiet. "This is Detective Leo from Internal Affairs," the chief announced. "He volunteered to help me see how my officers would react." Mason was still reeling. "But I searched the car. I didn't see any ID, no license." That's when the chief pulled out a tablet and hit play. A clear video showed Sergeant Cole at the car, reaching into the console, pulling out the wallet and ID, and slipping them into his own pocket. Tampering with evidence, clear as day. Cole stumbled back. "I can explain." "You can explain it to a judge," Leo cut in, stepping forward. "You're under arrest for tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, and filing a false report. You have the right to remain silent." He cuffed a stunned Cole in front of everyone. "Have you ever seen justice arrive like a bolt of lightning? Then go ahead and like this video, and subscribe for more stories where the truth always comes to light." The chief turned back to Mason. "You risked your career to do the right thing. That takes integrity." He smiled. "Looks like we have an opening for a new sergeant. What do you say?" Mason blinked, speechless. Then a slow smile spread across his face. "I'd be honored, sir." Justice had spoken.